Hello, I'm Michael Serapio. The newly elected Liberal leader made his way to Parliament Hill today. Mark Carney talking transition with the Prime Minister and to meet his new caucus to discuss priorities as the country comes ever closer to an election call.
I went to caucus today because you start as you mean to go on. And we are a Liberal team, and so it's incredibly important for me to hear directly from the members of caucus the concerns of Canadians on the ground, their priorities. As I said last night, they're the voices of their communities and they're the conscience of the party. There's tremendous energy in that group. We know this is a crucial time for our country. We're united to serve Canadians, and we will build this country.
Well, Steve MacKinnon is the Minister for Employment, Workforce Development and Labour. He was in the meetings today. Minister, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Mr. Carney, arguably more blue Liberal than the progressive wing that Mr. Trudeau represented. Is that a pivot your caucus is ready to make?
I think, I don't know that I would paint Mr. Carney any color of Liberal other than red. He is a true Liberal, which means, of course, that we want to keep a focus on the economy, but we also want to do so that Canada can sustain and project the kind of values that we've always projected, looking after one another, having a strong safety net under people, looking after having single-payer health care for all Canadians. Those are the kinds of things that, those are the kind of outcomes from the work that we do on achieving a strong economy. I think that's the kind of Liberal Mr. Carney is. So
concretely then, what type of change will he bring to the party? Or is this just a change at the top, but the status quo beyond it?
Oh no, look, there will be absolutely a change in emphasis, a strong focus on wealth generation, prosperity generation for Canadians, on creating the kinds of conditions where the country can prosper, whether that's through building infrastructure, whether that's through diversifying trade markets, whether that's through standing up to Donald Trump. Mr. Carney, I think, will absolutely have that real focus on economic questions and the kind of ways that we go about achieving prosperity in this country. And that'll be quite a contrast, Michael, with our opponents. You know, people who talk the country down, people who share Mr. Trump's values and not the values of Canadians over the years. So we're going to put that on display, and I think that Mr. Carney will come out very, very well in that comparison.
But is that also a contrast against Mr. Trudeau's prime ministership? You know, again, he leaned more progressive, less concerned about the deficit, for example. Is this a turning of your back on the priorities set out by the outgoing prime minister?
Well, Michael, your first question is this a change? And then the second question is, why are you changing? Of course, there's a change of seasons. Of course, we must adapt to the times. The times call for a strong focus on the economy. But is this a turning of your back on Mr. Trudeau's policies? Well, of course not. We've achieved an amazing legacy. Child care, the Canada Child Benefit, families have benefited from very much from Mr. Trudeau's years in office and so many others. We're not turning our back on that at all. But it is time that we focus on the prosperity of Canadians. It is time we focus on building the country and the kind of infrastructure we need to put a foundation under the future prosperity of Canada. And it's time to stand up to Donald Trump. And Mr. Carney will be doing that because he's strong from having had the experience of the global financial crisis, the Brexit crisis. Mr. Carney has been battle-tested, and he'll I know, guide us very, very well through these incredibly tumultuous times. Now,
Mr. Carney himself said today that a transition would happen quickly. So I wonder, is a swearing in, a cabinet shuffle possible as early as Wednesday?
I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to be very helpful to you there, Michael. I think that those are decisions that Mr. Carney will make. Obviously, he's conveyed that he will make them quickly, and I think we'll all learn them at the same time.
Okay. You know, before we're done, I do wonder, because the question's now being asked in many quarters, because here you are, you're going to be in the midst of a campaign sooner rather than later by all indications. How can you govern, fight Donald Trump, and campaign at the same time without compromising one or the other?
Well, we have to have an election. I don't know that anyone's seriously suggesting that in a world where the three opposition parties are conspiring to bring down the government, I don't know that really there is a world where an election in the near future, whenever that might be, can be avoided. So I don't know really what the question is. Of course we will tackle Donald Trump. Of course we will uphold Canada's interests. Of course we will do all of that and more at the same time while asking Canadians for their support.
Okay. Minister MacKinnon, thank you very much for the time this evening.
Thank you.